Hello and welcome back to another brand new review where today's review is going to be of the Dragon Ball Z movie Battle of Gods. So, why did I pick this movie? Well, for two reasons, the first reason is because the movie is now a decade old. Yes, I know. It's hard to imagine that just a decade ago we got this movie that revitalized the entire Dragon Ball franchise. Because at this point when this movie came out, the Dragon Ball had been off the air after the End of Z and the non-canon GT, and then of course the Dragon Ball Evolution live action movie that happened in 2009, which sucked, which I did do a review of back in March. But it was actually because of the terrible experience and how terrible Dragon Ball Evolution was that Akira Toriyama actually came out of retirement and wrote the script for this movie. And because of that, because of his bad experience on Dragon Ball Evolution, we now are in this renaissance of Dragon Ball, which I'm very happy about. Now, I wasn't a fan of Dragon Ball when this movie came out. I became a fan a couple of years later, thanks to the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series here on YouTube, done by Team 4 Star. And I had initially watched this in uh, uh, with subtitles in Japanese because I remember I got into this in around got into Dragon Ball in around 2014 2015 when um Resurrection F the film Resurrection F came out. So that's roughly in around the time that I became a fan. And so obviously I watched it, listening to the original, how it sounds, obviously in Japan with Masako Nozawa voicing Goku, Gohan, and Goten, and as well as everyone else. And that's what got me into, being able to watch the Dragon Ball Super anime when that came out. Now, it's the only Dragon Ball movie that I've actually ever watched with subtitles. So I've seen both versions, both in English dub and subtitles, because, of course, at one point you could watch the movie on YouTube. I'm not too sure about that nowadays. And then there was like a fan upload where they put in the Bruce Faulkner score, which, as someone who didn't grow up with the original Z and the Bruce Faulkner score, I kind of prefer the original Japanese score, especially after this rewatch of this movie. So, what is this movie about? Well, essentially, it takes place a couple of years after the end of the Boo saga. Um, and it's all about how we get introduced to these two new characters of Whis and Lord Beerus, who turns out Lord Beerus is a god of destruction. His main goal in the universe is to destroy. That is his MO. We got the Supreme Kai who creates life. We obviously now need to have the negative. And I have to say, even 10 years on, I still love the character design of both Whis and Lord Beerus. With Lord Beerus obviously being inspired by a hairless cat, but also having an Egyptian theme to it, which, if memory serves correct, I believe the Lord Beerus's design was based off of someone on staff's cat. I forget the exact story of it, but I know it's based on someone's cat. So yeah, Lord Beerus wakes after 39 years of slumber, which I wish I could sleep for that long. And the main reason why he's come out after 39 years is because of a prophecy that he was told by the Oracle Fish. And that is, in 39 years' time, you will fight someone who will become your rival with the powers of a Super Saiyan God, which is brand new information to us because all we know at this time is Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, and of course Super Saiyan 4 from the non-canon GT, which I kind of want Super Saiyan 4 to be canon because I really do love it. Um, but yeah, so Lord Beerus and Whis goes to the Northern Kai because the god hierarchy is you got northwest, east, and south Kais that watch the North Galaxy, the South Galaxy, the West Galaxy, and the South Galaxy. And then above them, you have the Supreme Kai, and the Elder Kai, who used to be the Supreme Kai. And then now we also get introduced to, as I said, Whis, who's an angel, and Lord Beerus. And then above those is Zeno. But we won't be talking about Zeno because he's only in Dragon Ball Super and that. So yeah, Beerus goes to Lord Kaio Sama's world. He fights Goku and takes him out in just 2 hits. The very first quote unquote villain or anyone to really take Goku out in 2 hits. And so he goes, after not knowing about the Super Saiyan God, he goes to Earth where he interacts with Prince Vegeta as they're there for Bulma's 39th birthday. And some hijinks happen along the way. Beerus gets angry and fights them all. Vegeta has a really awesome scene of when Bulma gets slapped by Lord Beerus that he goes, "That's my Bulma," and powers up even stronger than Goku is at that point, at that time, before he got the God powers. And I kind of prefer the Super version, the Dragon Ball Super version, because after this, the Dragon Ball Super anime came out, which kind of retold the Battle of Gods and the next movie, Resurrection F, as sagas. So there are obviously bits that I don't like about the Battle of Gods arc and Super, compared to the movie, and things that I actually love more from the Super anime compared to this, and that the Maya Bulma scene is done way better in Dragon Ball Super, in my opinion. I honest to God prefer it because when in the Super version, you do hear the fear in Vegeta's uh, voice when he says, "Don't hurt her, hurt me instead. Please don't hurt her." Um, but yeah, anyway, back to this. Yeah, so all the Z Warriors essentially get mollywopped by Lord Beerus because, of course, as I keep mentioning, he's a god of destruction. Then Goku shows up. They use Shenron or Shenlong in the how it's supposed to be, and they ask about the Super Saiyan God. They find out that they need 5 righteous Saiyans to put their energy into another, but it was only ever for a short time. And so they do it, Goku, Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, and Gohan, but they miscounted that they actually need 6 people, 5 Saiyans to put into one. And that's when we get the reveal that Videl is pregnant with Pan, because we obviously know that because Pan showed up at the end of Z. So it's nice to know when that happened in terms of the lineage of the Dragon Ball story. So they use Videl's help, and Goku becomes God. And it's so this is like a good hour or so into the movie, and I'm sorry, I just got distracted by a butterfly that just came in because I have my window open and it is very late that I'm recording this. Anyway, yes, so the fight between Goku and Beerus. Goku, obviously, in the Super Saiyan God form, which, I'm being honest, I still love. I love it more than Blooper Saiyan, which is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and Ultra Instinct. I doubt, because I think, this is kind of like not so much a controversial opinion, but it's an opinion that I strongly have. They should not have just gotten rid of God as quickly, because after this movie, and even in the Dragon Ball Super anime, it wasn't seen again until the Tournament of Power arc. And though in the manga it is seen, because Toyotaro, who does the manga, has a little bit more flexibility when it comes to using the god power. So anyway, yes, so the fight is broken up into 2 segments. The first bit is obviously Goku in his god powers, and then the second half of the fight is Goku not in his god powers, but because he's such an experienced fighter, that as soon as his body got a taste for the power of Super Saiyan God, he could retain that power and transform into the god form whenever he wants now. And so yeah, it's a very good fight. Mix between there are some CGI scenes in there, and it still looks pretty good 10 years later compared to Resurrection F, which unfortunately does not look good out of the four Dragon Ball movies that we've gotten in the past decade, which is brilliant to see. That we've gotten so many movies. And it ends with Goku losing essentially after Beerus using only like 70% of his power. And so he was supposed to destroy the planet because of him not getting pudding, essentially. That's what kicked him off in the first place. Because Lord Beerus is and Whis are big food lovers. They're big on tasty foods. And yeah, that's basically the end of the movie. Beerus goes back to his planet and decides to only sleep for 3 years, which obviously then leads into the Resurrection F movie. So I'm really glad that I rewatched it because as I said, this really holds up. 10 years later, it still looks absolutely amazing. I mean, yes, there are scenes there are stills throughout the movie that obviously don't look good, but I mean, it still holds up. The art style and the animation style is honestly top notch. But again, of course, because it's a movie, they're obviously going to put more Toei Animation, who does the anime for Dragon Ball as well as One Piece and a bunch of other stuff. Even Power Rangers, they do Power Rangers. Technically, Super Sentai in Japan. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Where was I? Yeah, so Toei pumped more money into this, and it was a massive success when it came out in cinemas, all over the place. Even in Japan, I think it grossed like over a billion yen. Um, Someone fact check me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, I'm really glad that I decided to rewatch this movie because I really do love Battle of Gods. Like it introduced me to it introduces us to Lord Beerus, but not only Lord Beerus, but I forgot it opened up Dragon Ball as a whole because this is where we learned that there's multiple universes. Before Marvel done it. Well, Marvel obviously done it in the comics, but not in the movies at that point. And we learned that we're in the seventh universe out of 12, which means there are 12 other gods of destruction, obviously, because we've seen them in the Tournament of Power and Super. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. And it opened up the world for us to see so many things. And even now, 10 years later, it's actually flopped on that regard, because we barely have seen anything from the other universes outside of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, which is just a 10-minute short anime episode to promote a card game. But even since this movie, I mean, we've had the Universe 6 tournament, um, which showed us some people from Universe 6, two of them being, of course, a Saiyan named Kaba and Frost, Frieza's twin of Universe 6. And then, of course, we have the Tournament of Power, which had a bunch of different universes show up for this big, massive brawl. And even and the at the end of Super, we see snippets of places within other universes, but we've never explored it fully. And I'm not the only one who says that they want to see our our main guys explore these other universes because that's kind of what it's felt like they were trying to set up. But that is now actually going to wrap up this review. So yeah, I know this probably won't get a lot of views because most of my viewers aren't anime fans. But as I said, it's been 10 years since this movie came out, and I wanted to watch it again because it's been a while since I last had a rewatch of it. And I'm glad I did. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you've seen Battle of Gods, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. Because one thing I did forget to mention is this is actually a really good jumping on point for new fans because the beginning of the movie gives you a crash course of what's come before it. But you don't need to have watched all or even read the manga of original Dragon Ball and Z to understand what's happening in this movie. And it's the same. Well, I was about to say it was the same for the next one, but no, it isn't because you kind of do need to know about Z to get Resurrection F. But anyway, I've been rambling on now, so thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all on my next review. I don't know what it is because my copybook is in my bedroom. So I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep now. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. Anyway, rambling again. I'll catch you all next time.